Okay, I think we're on. I just got to go grab my water. So I just got back from a trip. I think we're on. I was in Tampa, Florida at the Army's birthday ball, and then I had to fly up to New York City for doing a conference on anti-Semitism, and then I had to do a podcast, the Tampa Camp. Man, I'm screwing this up. Camp Gannon, but with a G again. It doesn't matter. Camp podcast. I don't know why I can't. Oh, Camp Gagnon podcast. I was on the Camp Gagnon podcast. You know what it is? My brother used to play. Legend of Zelda, and like Ganon was the bad guy. So I think I see Gagnon, and I think Ganon. So my fault. What? I got a whole bunch of packages right here. So I figured we could all wait for the boom together, and could try out. I could open up some of these packages. You could maybe ask me some questions about the trip. I gotta tell you, Preston Stewart, cool guy. Chris Cappy, I've met him before. He's a cool guy. Like, all of these people that I met were great guys. You know, and Ethan Long of Habitual Line Crosser, he was a cool guy. I got a chance to do a little cameo in one of his videos. Like, that's fun. And I feel like as creators, we really need to partner with each other more. Because I think there's enough cake for everyone to eat, and it only makes our content better. So, I don't know who sent this. This is from Ryan in Madison, Cary, North Carolina. Ryan in Cary, North Carolina. Let's see what it is. I'm running out of space up here. I don't know what I'm going to do when that wall fills up. God knows I can't afford another house. It says, hope this finds you well and assists amidst your many adventures. I've included a little something for you, a patch and a coin from my unit. Thank you for, I appreciate what you've given for your multifaceted expertise. Let's see what we got. We have a poker chip. Ooh, this looks like a cyber coin. A cyber unit. And that's the, I actually don't know what unit that is. It's probably, let's see here. This is Always Vigilant, Semper, I can CSDL1, Defense Information Systems Agency, Fort Meade, Maryland, Cybersecurity Detachment. Cool. That's really neat, man. I think this is the first cyber coin I've gotten other than the coins that I've gotten. I'm going to need a bigger coin rack soon. But that is really neat. So that one's going right up there. Well, thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that. And thank you for the patch. I'm going to throw this up on the wall. Let's see about this one. This one, oh, I don't know who this is from. This is from Daniel from Prague. So Prague is in the Czech Republic. So let's give this one a shot. I'm being bribed, yeah. People in the chat are like, he's being bribed. Yeah, right. That's so stupid. You know, one, there's, look, no one's ever going to agree 100%. Oh my God. No one's ever going to agree 100% with what the president says, but if you get a presidential coin, that's pretty special. Getting one of those presidential challenge coins. So this is a whole lot of stuff here. Oh my God. Oh wow. I wonder if anything's missing. All right. So I think it's almost like it's more stuff than I can even pull out. Okay. So I don't know what this is. So, hi Ryan, write me on WhatsApp or Telegram or an email when you receive this letter. I will send you some bonus info about the patches, the history of Czech, the history of the Czech people and the Czechoslovak army. Best regards, Daniel. My grandfather, this is the guy's grandfather in World War I. All right, so these are some of the patches. So here's Czech flag. I'm gonna have to get a smaller version. So I actually asked people, don't send me flags because because Germany, Turkey kind of had to ruin it by sending a bigger flag. And then Germany, of course, sent an even bigger flag. And so now, I'm not doing this war between countries. But that's one. So this is, I have no idea what some of this stuff is. So this is obviously an airborne patch, right? Czech airborne. I'm not sure what that is. L39 Users Group Conference. I guess that's one of their trainer birds. There's a Ukraine patch in here. There's a Czech Republic patch. This is interesting. Air Advisors Team Iraq. Czech Republic Air Advisors Team Iraq. That's their rondel right there. Czech. Oh, wow. I guess I didn't know this. I guess the Czech Air Force is now in the Sinai Peninsula. That's kind of cool. So they might have taken over for the French. This says 10 years, 3,700 flights, 5,300 flight hours, 80,000 passengers, 9,450 tons of cargo, 0 accidents. That's actually really cool. And here's this. I don't know what this is. Squadron 311, Royal Air Force. Okay. And this is NATO Days, Czech Air Force Days. I'm not sure. This is probably an unofficial patch or a patch that was made for an event. So, in your home of Czechoslovakia, freedom will come. Of Czechoslovakia, freedom will come. All right. Well, that's kind of cool. That's a lot of stuff. I'm going to have to email this guy. I also have to get a smaller flag. There's our postcard in here. Czechoslovaks in the ME. Let's take a look at that. All right. Well, that's kind of cool. Thank you, Daniel. I will definitely have to write you. This is from and well, I hope I didn't. There it is. Gotta keep all this together. All right, Czech Republic. I don't have Czech Republic up there. All right, another package here. This is from, I don't know who this is from. Amaze Company, Hebron, Kentucky. All right, let's be amazed. No glitter bombs yet. I'm worried about the regular bombs. What cigar am I smoking on? Flat Iron. I think I got this in New York City when I was there shooting this commercial. All right. Let's see what we got. It's like a t-shirt. And it's a 2XL. Thanks. I'm an XL, not that fat, but Gat fingers. Oh, that's kind of cool. Interesting. All right. No note, nothing. I got a packing slip. All right. Well, thank you, whoever sent this. All right. This is from mycubanstore.com. My guess is that it's a goiabada, which I love goiabadas. It's probably my favorite kind of shirt to wear. I wear them all the time. So, let's take a look. Oh. All right. I don't know who sent this. Is there a note? All right. Hi, Ryan. Love your videos. Great insights based on science, common sense. It's great to see you're a fan of Goyabatas. Our family business has been crafting and selling these unique shirts since 2002. Each one is made in Mexico using a traditional artisanal process. Inspired by your videos, I created a special olive-colored Goyabata for you. I thought about... Yes. I thought about sending you a message to find out your size. Why not do what Ryan and Beth would do? I took a picture of one of your videos and used your style to determine your size. Using bath tiles. Wow! Good job, dude! Good job! Using this information, I calculated approximately shoulder-to-shoulder measurement to 21 inches, which equates to XL in our shirts. And he is correct. I am an extra large. All right. Take a look at this thing. This is awesome. Oh, wow. Look at that. Olive Goyabata. Woo! I will promote the heck out of this company. This was, who sent this? Alex Martin. That is awesome. That is fantastic, man. Thank you so much, Alex. That is, I can't wait to wear this. An olive Goyabata. It's going to look good, man. I need to get a black one, too. I love Goyabatas. Love wearing these things. And you know, if I were, I really like this. This is nice. If I were an Irish, I'd definitely like to be Cuban. You know, like, this is nice. Alex, I'm gonna send a thank you to you personally. All right. What else we got here? All right, I had to talk with those guys. I would totally sell some of their shirts as merch on Bunker Branding if they can do something like that. This is coming from Lee, which is APOAE. So he's in Armed Forces Europe. See what this is. And this says, oh wow, it's a lot of stuff here. This is Security Assistance Group Ukraine. All right, so I guess these guys must be Jason Lee, Program Analyst, DCI. So Jason says, I finished your technical video, found your mailing address. What's important is you answered the question about the origin of the term, which has been vexing me for years. So here's me talking about the video I did about technicals, the pickup trucks, and the term technical, it comes from technical payments. Like back during Somalia, you couldn't put on an expense report bribes to warlords. So you would put the word technical payments down on your expense report. And so those trucks that the warlords rode in eventually began to be known as technicals. I work with 2 veterans of that war. It's a shame it took so long. Encloses the patch I worn by the personnel assigned to SAG-U. There have been several generations of this patch. This one is notable because it's actually made in Ukraine and shipped to the headquarters. Thank you for your informative information. It makes it really easy to discuss your videos with my friends and family. That's really cool. I'm glad. Thank you, Jason, for the patches. This is really neat. Program patches are kind of cool because not a lot of people get those. It's not like a 101st patch, right? Anyone who's served in the 101st has a 101st patch, but these program patches, those are definitely something unique. Matt Clark. Matt sent me something. Let's take a look inside. Oh, this looks kind of cool. Greetings from the Bush School. Very respectfully, Matt. So this is, the George H.W. Bush Presidential Center. All right, that's kind of cool. Thank you, Matt. I bet not a lot of people have that. George H.W. Bush Presidential Center. This is from Canada, I think. Yeah, it's Canada. Anything that has French and English on it, it's most likely Canada. So let's take a look here. Oh, something just fell out. Oh. So this is, I don't know what that is. It is just a patch with nothing on it. So I'm not sure what that is. Each patch starts with an idea. I'm sure this is Royal something. Nothing else came out of there. All right, well, I'll put that with my Canada group over there. Yeah, I know one of you guys is like, oh, I get our bills in the mail. Yeah, I get some bills too. Let me tell you, I just I spent a lot of freaking money because so there's this amazing woman down in Tampa, and she works for AUSA, which is this Army service organization that helps out the troops. Berlin Brigade. Well, you don't see that much anymore. Berlin Brigade, that's Andrew Adams. That's pretty cool. I'm going to throw that up there on the wall. So this woman, Marilyn Westrup, she works for AUSA in Tampa. And she put together this whole get-together in Tampa, Florida, to do, for the Army's birthday. And, she kind of strong-armed me into buying a table. So I bought a whole table as the Ryan Macbeth Productions table. And I went and that's why I invited Chris Cappy. Actually, I invited Chris Cappy. I invited Mandatory Fun Day. I invited Ethan from Habitual Line Crosser. I invited Preston Stewart and his wife. And some people weren't able to make it, but we all had a pretty darn good time. And it was a really good event. Marilyn did an amazing job, but I spent so much damn money between Ubers and the flight and the hotel, and it was a lot of freaking money. I'm okay financially, and I can write it off as a business expense, but I gotta tell you, that American Express bill is gonna be outrageous. All right, what's right here? Another package, and it hasn't exploded yet, so take a look here. All right. I wonder what this could be. Oh, wow. All right. So these are Frank's Red Hot Goldfish, along with an Old Bay seasoning can, an Old Bay bottle opener, more Old Bay, hot Old Bay. All right. And it says, Ryan, my brother and I are big fans of your YouTube channel. I'm a fellow Maryland, New Jersey transplant. Moved to that area a few years ago. Started working for McCormick. All right, McCormick produces Old Bay, and it was good to see the goldfish crackers on your page recently. Here are some items from your company store. Enjoy. Thank you, Carl. I don't see an email, but that was really neat. Thank you, Carl. That was really kind of you. I've never had hot. You know what? While we're here, I'm just gonna try this out. So, Old Bay. I'm from New Jersey originally, and then I came to Maryland, and I became a Marylander. Without a doubt, I became a Marylander. And boy, I put Old Bay on everything now. All right, so this is the hot Old Bay. I didn't even know there was it's got a kick to it. Woo! Thank you, Carl. I'm gonna have to write him back because he didn't include an email. All right, so that's pretty much it for all the stuff I got, all the stuff that came in the mail. So what do I got here? Hey Jake bro, how's prom? There's Jake bro. I think I invited Jake. Jake's in the chat right now. I invited Jake. I didn't think he could come for some reason. I don't remember what that was. Jake Riff says, Ryan, where in New Jersey are you from? I grew up in Princeton. You escaped New Jersey and then go to D.C. So technically I went to Maryland. I was going to move into D.C., but I own a couple of pistols. And, moving to D.C. is, your pistol has to be on a certain list, and you can't have a magazine capacity of over a certain size. And I'm like, I'm not playing their freaking game. You know, I'm not playing Mother May I for something that I already own. I already own this thing, and now I have to jump through hoops to be allowed to own it again. So I just moved to Maryland, but 2 blocks away from DC, literally. I moved again because they're actually going to raise my rent. My apartment was going to raise my rent from like $2,500 a month to $3,200 a month. I was like, it would be cheaper to buy a house. So thank God I have a VA loan. And, I went and I got the VA loan. I'm actually paying less money now owning a house than I am. I'm paying less money now owning a house than I did paying rent, it's like crazy. But if it wasn't for the VA, if it wasn't for the VA loan, I wouldn't be able to afford it. You know, there's like to be able to save up. I think for a down payment to save up like $80,000. That's like $80,000. Who the heck is it? I don't know how people are buying some of these big houses. I don't know what jobs you're doing. So I always said YouTubers were famous, not rich. Like I do okay. I'm making as much money as I did when I was at Accenture, but now I'm working 13 to 16 hour days. Like Accenture, I was working an 8-hour day, maybe do some videos on the side. Now, I'm working my butt off, like constantly. And even just like, I flew to Tampa, and when you're like at an event like that, you have to be on. You have to be in character and on, and you're performing. And then I fly to this other event in New York, and I'm performing. I'm performing. I'm on, right? I'm the celebrity that's invited there. And then I go to Camp Gagnon. This morning, I woke up at 4 a.m. to go and do this podcast, and I'm on. I have to be on for 2.5 hours. It's not easy. So, I might be making as much money as I made back when I was, working at Accenture. But the bad thing is, it's like you were just constantly working. And the other thing is, the other thing is that like you're only as good as your last video, and like I have to do, I won't do 2 shows a night. I refuse. It's in the chat. Someone said don't get burnout. Like, I don't really envision myself like I was a soldier. It's going to be really hard to get burned out making videos, right? Like what's burned out? Like I kind of live off this stuff, right? The concept of being burned out, like that's like, look, at the end of the day, I'm really just making silly videos, right? Maybe educational videos. I think the one time that I like started to get burned out was after October 7th. That was bad. Like that was a bad time. It was an even worse time for the people involved in it. That wasn't too good for those people. But it was bad. It was bad. And, I'm analyzing just all of this tragedy. And that was not easy to do. So someone just asked me, I'm wondering if some of the Department of the Boat people, let me, I can't do that because I have different, it's funny, someone just wrote me about, I guess, like a destroyer design. And I'm like, dude, I know I am the wrong person to be asking about Navy ships. Like, I know a little bit. I can talk about the LCS. I can talk about aircraft carriers. I can talk about destroyers a little bit. But, oh my God. Like, I'm going to have to, like, look over that email. Probably when I need a vacation. So someone just said in the chat, I need a vacation. Let me tell you something. I am taking a vacation of sorts. the moment you take a vacation, the moment you stop making content on YouTube, you start going down. Oh, thank you for that super thanks, sir. What do you think the lack of defensive warfare in the West will make the home front worse in World War III? Defense and info warfare. Do I think that information warfare in the West will make the home front worse in World War III? Yeah, probably, because at least back in World War II, like you had to print a magazine or something, right? And like the police could like find the printing press and destroy it. Now it's like social media has been great for reconnecting families and all that, but now it's like, you're kind of opening the door to Russia. They're using our freedoms against us. So yeah, that's kind of a bad thing. Someone just mentioned my Goya battle that I got. I got to write that guy back. That was really cool. Someone else asked, don't you lose your voting rights in D.C.? You can vote for, you kind of do, because there's no real rule for voting in a federal election in the district, and there's no constitutional rule for getting a representative into Congress. So Czechoslovakia just said, hey, Ryan. Hey, Czechoslovakia. Thought it was two things, though. It was the Czech Republic and Slovakia. It's two countries now. But when you move into D.C., you can't really vote for president anymore. And you can vote for a representative, but it's a non-voting representative. Basically, D.C. only has a mayor, Mayor Bowser, who is a cigar smoker. And that's a good thing I can say about Mayor Bowser. She's a cigar smoker, so I'm on her side when it comes to smoking rules. Someone here said $1 million would get you a 2 or 3 bed place with a small garden. I have a 2-bedroom place. I don't need a lot. I moved out of my apartment, and the house I have now is a little bit bigger than my apartment, but it's 2 floors. So the bedroom upstairs, and then I have the basement, and one neat thing? I don't know if I can show it or not, but I put a bathroom in right over there, so I can watch sports and go to the bathroom, and I can see the TV through the bathroom. It's the best thing I've ever done. This is wonderful. Let me tell you, if you're a guy, you gotta. Hey, someone says greeting, Sweden. Yes, Marion Barry. So someone in chat just mentioned Marion Barry, and Marion Barry was a former mayor. He actually smoked crack and went to jail. He was a mayor of D.C. He smoked crack. It was caught smoking crack on video. Went to jail. Got out of jail. Became mayor again. So someone said here, do you think the war in Ukraine will end on its own, or will NATO and its allies intervene first? I think eventually what's going to happen is that the two sides are going to come to the negotiation table. And just the question is Ukraine going to come to the negotiation table in a position of strength or a position of weakness? Because it could go either way right now. We just need to keep continuing to support Ukraine. So Bulgaria says hello. Bulgaria, who sent me a flag but no patches for months. What case do you think would be do you think World War III would be an actual war of attrition, not a lightning war? I'm not sure. I mean, I've said I think we're in World War III right now. I think if it ever went hot where NATO was actually fighting Russia, I think we'd probably be looking at a couple of months of fighting. And the most likely result from that, it wouldn't necessarily be actually invading Russian territory, because usually that ends up not going well for the invaders. But it would be attriting the Russian army to the point where they've been kicked out of Ukraine, and maybe they kind of descend into chaos after that. I don't know, and I don't know what the plan is for dealing with a Russia that's descended into a level of chaos like Somalia, right? Because you don't really want chaos in a country with nuclear weapons, where you have different factions trying to gain control of weapons. So Someone else asked some questions here. Further on, I'd like to see Bulgaria. Lord of the Rings was filmed. World War. Yeah, I mean, Ryan, do you enjoy role-playing games, Dungeons and Dragons? So years ago, many years ago, like when I was in high school, there was this girl I really liked, and her name was Kristen. I like this girl, man. And so, she was in the Dungeons and Dragons Club, so I joined the Dungeons and Dragons Club so I could be with her, and I like that girl. I think that was the last time I played Dungeons and Dragons. Like, I'm almost 50. I don't have the time. I don't have the time to play video games or to play games. Like, literally all I do is I work. Like, I just got off the plane. I got my mail. I came back home, and I opened the mail so I could give you guys something. I know I gave you guys a video earlier this morning. Someone asked, did you watch the debate? I guess you mean the presidential debate. I did not watch the presidential debate, and that was because I was working on a script. And I also, I don't care about politics all that much. It doesn't really affect me. I'm sure it affects me, but I don't know who I'm gonna vote for. I have no freaking clue. I am this most center person. Someone on Reddit said something about me. He said, Ryan's a conservative. He's just not a throw trans people in jail conservative. And yes, I do not think you should do that. I don't really care about what you do in your own bedroom. That's weird to me, people who are concerned about that stuff. But I'm not really anything politically. I mean, I like Ronald Reagan, but I also like Harry Truman. So you figure that one out. So someone said the debate was mostly about golf. Dating advice. Yeah, because I've done so successful in my dating life, right? What do I think about a golf ball for the presidency? As long as I get to carry my own bag. Sleepy Joe, Sleepy Joe needs a golf cart. I can carry my own bag. I don't know. Maybe a golf off would be appropriate. It'd be nice if they get Nikki Haley in there and pop one off. Thoughts on milsim games like Arma 3, Squad, etc. I guess they're fun. I really don't play them. I don't have the time to play video games. And I don't see where people get the time to do it either, How in modern times civil wars happen in other countries? How about a civil war in the USA? So I actually reviewed that Civil War movie, and that's gonna come out this Friday. So this Friday, stay tuned. Watch my video. It's 40 minutes long. 40 minutes. It's probably the longest video I've ever done, and I go over that Civil War movie frame by frame. It took me weeks to do this. And the other thing is when I tried to upload the video, I kept getting copyright hits. And so I had to it tells you where the copyright hit is. So then I take that and I cut it, and then that gets accepted, and then another thing gets accepted or rejected. And so it took me about 7 or 8 tries to get an actual version of my Civil War movie review uploaded without any copyright issues. OPSEC and OSI for dating. Well, now that I'm quote unquote famous, everybody knows who I am and who I work for and all that. But when it comes to something like OPSEC, if OPSEC meaning operational security, the one piece of advice I could give for that is if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. So if you've got some, I'm almost 50. If a girl who's 26 messages me, that's not going to happen. But a woman in her 40s, all right, we can talk. So you just got to be smart and just kind of if you're not famous, then you just kind of know. You have to know, like, look, maybe you don't really tell people who you work for until your first or second date, or until your second or third date. If you're working for an agency that has a security policy, check with the agency. What does the agency say about dating, right? So I wouldn't necessarily rely on me, but probably a good general rule is just, you don't talk about what you do in the skiff, or you don't talk. And one thing that usually works really well is you say, oh, what I do is really boring. I work with computers. It'd be really boring for you to hear about that. And most people just kind of file that away and move on. Like, you don't want to be bored, right, when you're talking about a date. I think it's time to pirate the movie to understand your references. Yeah, the nuke lady in her book, Annie. I talked about Annie Jacobson this morning. So someone said that nukes lady and her book are getting around. It is not a very scientific book. She has every right to make money. Go make your money, but maybe write fiction. I mean, the whole nuclear. One of the things she talks about in her book is nuclear winter, and it's up in the air as to whether nuclear winter was actually a thing, because the climate models back in the 80s run on computers weren't that good. We have better climate models now because we're researching climate change. So, oh boy, when it comes to nuclear winter, the Soviets, they took that and they ran with it, and they put out a lot of propaganda about nuclear winter in order to get the West to stop producing nuclear weapons, or at least keep nuclear weapons out of Europe. So the nuclear weapons and nuclear winter, that was what's called active measures coming from the Russians. Drop James O'Keefe's name in casual conversation. As a 29-year-old, I also only talk to 40-year-old chicks. Do a video game on War Thunder and talk about the tanks. That would be pretty neat. Maybe I could do that. For some reason, I can't send this as a donated message. I'll gladly take your money. Hey, Ryan, you met Disco Champ. I missed your super chat. Disco Champ. Oh, what role could you play in World War III? What role? I would probably, honestly, either play an intelligence role, or if the Army called me back, I would probably be a trainer. Because I can't really get back into uniform because my arm was amputated. I don't know if you guys can see this, but you can see the scarring here where they folded the skin back over my arm. My arm was amputated, and they put it back on. And I went to physical therapy for a very long time, and I can't even hold a rifle traditionally because my arm won't rotate past like 30 degrees. Like when I pour M&Ms into my hand, they all fall out, or peanuts or whatever, right? So thoughts on the recent Supreme Court rulings? I don't have any thoughts on the recent Supreme Court rulings. I mean, I know that there were some, but I really haven't looked them over. Like, I have a limited amount of time, and I'm more interested in cybersecurity and war posture. And this morning, I had to do a quick video on President Zelensky's wife and how she did not buy a Bugatti for $4.5 million. And what's your weapon of choice, toe or NLAW? Toe, because toe can reach out and touch you. NLAW is, if you're using an NLAW, they're way too close. Ryan, outside of the U.S., what is the strongest country in NATO? Ooh, probably France. And their military. England. France and England would probably be my two choices, probably with the winner going to France. Poland would definitely be a runner-up there. Although Poland doesn't really have an expeditionary army. Like, it's cool. It's really cool to be in the military in Poland now. Their home guard, or their territorial army, National Guard thing. Like, if you're in college and you're not in the territorial army or their home guard, like, you're not going to get a girlfriend. In fact, your girlfriend's probably in the Polish home guard, right? Doing her reserve duty. It's a volunteer unit, and like, it's cool to be a reservist in Poland right now. So Ryan from Ireland, Cork, you guys in America look to be so divided. Civil War looks just around the corner for you. Let me tell you something. We are too lazy for a civil war. Like we're too lazy for a civil war. Like, oh, there's a civil war. Can you zoom it? Like, I'm not going to the civil war, man. I got, I got the next season of Yellowstone is on. You're not having a civil war over what? Like that's just the idea of that is just so absurd. I don't see that one bit. I think that the division, we have more that unites us than divides us. You walk through an airport. I go through airports all the time. Nobody's talking about politics. Nobody's talking about any of that stuff. Most people they're just trying to live their lives. Ryan, what are your thoughts on all the major UK political parties pledging to increase defense spending 2.5% of GDP if they win the election? I don't know about that. I guess what are the two political parties? There's Labour and there's the Tories, right? I think there's another one, right? I think that's a good idea. I think that the UK is they are one of the 4.5 expeditionary forces in the world. Way more fun. Someone just said way more fun than gospel night at the strip club. Keep preaching. Years ago, Ryan, what do you think about Lithuania's military and their role in NATO? I can see the flag behind you. So that flag is the Iron Wolf, the Iron Wolf Brigade, which is a really neat story. The Iron Wolf Brigade. The king of Lithuania fell asleep. He was hunting, and he fell asleep. And that night he had a dream of an iron wolf that howled with the strength of 100 wolves. And he talked to his soothsayer in the morning, and his soothsayer wizard said, "Oh, that's a sign that you have to build a great city." And that's where the Lithuanians built the city of Vilnius. That's hardcore. That's hardcore. And Lithuania, they got 2 brigades maybe, of troops, but they punch outside of their weight because they've gone on a lot of foreign missions. They were in Afghanistan. So everyone has their role to play, and a Lithuanian mechanized brigade would play a role in any kind of conflict. So I started watching since you talked with Destiny. My girlfriend and I both love you. I'm about to be a senior comp sci physics double major. Any tips on starting a career? Yes. Watch my video on, if you probably Google it or go on YouTube, Ryan Macbeth, five things to have on your resume. And it's like you want to be able to do AWS or Azure. I would say AWS instead of Azure. It seems like more people are into AWS. So know how, get a free Azure account, know how to start a node, stop a node, know how to do all that stuff, right? And then you want Jira on your resume. You want SQL. Don't ignore SQL. Know Agile. Know how to know what a sprint is. Know what story points is. Know what velocity is. Know those things. I have videos on all that stuff. And learn that stuff. That stuff's important to learn. And if I see that on a resume, I'm like, okay, this guy, he knows SQL. Well, you're a lot more useful than a guy who doesn't know SQL. Oh, this guy knows AWS. You're a lot more useful than a guy who doesn't know AWS. Say virtualization is important too. At least know how to spin up a virtual device on, Hyper-V. How to spin up something on Hyper-V. Know Linux. Know how to do basic commands in Linux. All that's useful. And also get an internship. Get an internship. Just pound the freaking pavement. Because if I see that you did an internship and you were good at that internship, that's a key to me that you're going to be accepted by your peers. So, you can be a great programmer, but if you don't get along with everybody, what am I going to do with you? But if I know that you did an internship, I'm like, all right, well, these people could at least stand this guy for 8 weeks or 12 weeks, whatever your internship was. So get an internship. Do whatever it takes to get an internship. Yeah, someone else said the U.S. was way more divided in the past. Yeah, in slavery, And is kind of weird looking back on it. Like 200 years ago, we thought it was okay for people to own people. How was that okay? I guess people somehow justified it, right? Like, I think the country was split over slavery way more than they're split over things now. The Liberal Democrats and the Reform Party. Thank you. Ryan, would you get a Kurdish flag for how much they fought against? I guess you can't say that word. I mean, the Kurds, the way it works is someone sends me a patch, I put up a flag. That's kind of how it works here. So someone said, Army veteran here, I appreciate your great content. I am Israel Chai, and bring them home. Israel Chai. I don't know what that means. Israel Chai. I am Israel Chai, and bring them home. I have to Google that because I don't know what that means. Like, Chai means life. Yam Israel Chai is a Jewish solidarity anthem used to express Jewish peoplehood. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that, Cole. Well, you don't meet a lot of. It's interesting. You don't meet a lot of Jews in the army. You meet some. I think it was. I met a rabbi once. And it's interesting because some of them have beards because I guess they have to get a shaving waiver. For that. And I talked with the guy, and what's interesting is that a lot of if you're a chaplain in the army, like you learn like religious services from like all religions. And I actually heard the during the Gulf War, like we bulldozed Iraqis who were in their trenches. Like, we just filled them in with dirt. Like, Iraqis who didn't surrender, we would just fill in the trenches with dirt, in order to make the breach. And from what I understand, it was actually like a rabbi that went and said the shaheed, the prayer for the dead Muslims that we bulldozed over, because someone had to do it. And, he had the book. He could just read from the book. But I always thought that was an interesting story. I could never get confirmation of that. I think I saw it in like a documentary. I could never find that. What's good, Macbeth? Right from South Central LA. Dave from South Central LA. Well, I can tell you this, Dave. Back when I joined, in '94, there were two dudes. One was a Crip, one was a Blood from South Central LA. And the drill sergeants were all like, you guys gonna have any trouble? And they were like, no, man, we don't bang anymore. Like, we joined the army to get away from all that. And I always thought that was kind of interesting, providing last rites for enemies is pretty remarkable. Andrew Knox. We did that for the guy that we caught in Pakistan, who was the world's most wanted man, whose name I can't say on YouTube. We did that for him. Hooah, Ryan, Harmony Church, Osint Grunt. Yes, I was Sand Hill. I think I was a little too old for Harmony Church. Thank you for that. Giedrich Eclectic Travel Adventures. Straight out of Compton. I mean, some of those dudes, I'll tell you something. Some of those guys, the former gang members, they made some damn good soldiers. And I think a lot of them were like, they were just looking for like respect and like authority, like to just kind of know like this is where I belong. This is where I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to do. Some of those guys from South Central LA, they made some damn good soldiers. I think like they're just looking for that structure. And something that they can apply themselves toward, and be good at, right? And there's always that hyper competent soldier, and you're like, oh wow, how are you so freaking hyper competent? And I was tactically and technically proficient, but I think my biggest problem in the military was that I was never above and beyond. Like, I never wanted to be airborne, ranger. I'm like, nah. You know what I want to be good at? I want to be the best damn tow gunner I can possibly be. I want to be the best heavy weapons guy I could be. Like, heavy weapons leader course? Yeah, I went to that. Heck yeah, let's go to heavy weapons leader course. But you want me to go to ranger school? I can't smoke there for 90 freaking days. Can't smoke for 90 days? Screw that. I'm not doing that. Going to ranger school. Let's say, do you think social patterns are repeating like Rome, especially with Western society being so decadent, plus the current upcoming crises? I don't know. I don't know enough about that to really say. Like, I'm not a sociologist. I do weapons. You know, I think eventually all civilizations fall, you know. But I think what's kind of neat about America is that we're very self-correcting. You know, like we might go to one side and we kind of correct and go back to this side and go correct and go back to this side. Ryan, what do you think about 3D printed pew-pews? I ain't shooting one. Like you gotta get your head. I would never ever shoot a 3D printed gun ever. I can't think of anything good that can happen doing that. You know, you got to be really confident in your engineering ability to do that, right? Like maybe I could see making parts or something, like a spring fails, like, oh, maybe I can print a new spring, or I can print a longer slide release or something like that. But the other scary thing to me is, like, God forbid you ever do get into like a home defense shooting or something like that, you know, and you're if I get into one of the things that I do is like for my guns is that like I don't have anything crazy. I have a couple of pistols and I have a Ruger 1022, and the ammunition I have for self-defense it literally says Hornady Critical Defense, because God forbid you ever do get into a self-defense shooting, and let's just say something just wasn't right, like you know, maybe as you're shooting the guy, he turned to run away, and then there's a couple of shots in the guy's back because you're so scared you keep shooting, right? You shoot till the threat goes down. And some prosecutor wants to make a name for themselves, goes like, oh, well, he shot this guy in the back. I mean, you shot him in the front too, but, you know. So, you just might have some prosecutor just wants to make a name for themselves. So, well, I want to be able to go up on that witness stand and say, I used Hornady Critical Defense, not Hornady Zombie Killer Extra Pro Max. You know, not Hornady, you know, whatever. I want, like, self-defense. I want my ammunition box to say self-defense, right? So I go up on the stand, and my gun is a 3D printed gun. Oh, this guy used a 3D printed gun. He wanted his gun to be untraceable because he was looking to shoot somebody. You know, like, prosecutors will do all that weird stuff. So that's why, like, dude, if I freaking have a, you know, if I have a home defense firearm, freaking shotgun, pistol, like, I'm not using a freaking, well, I have a 300 blackout with a tactical light and a whatever, like if I were to buy a shotgun for home defense, it would be like wood. You know, like it looked like a hunting weapon, you know, because I'm not going to be that guy who's like, you know, I'm not going to be up on the stand. Well, thank you very much for the free adult beverage token. I appreciate that, David. Yeah, I'm not going to be that guy. I don't like guns all that much anyway. I enjoy shooting, but, like, you know, and it's fun, but it's not like my entire personality. It's something I do maybe once every 4 to 6 months. You know, there was once a point in my life when I got out of the military, I owned 13 guns. And if that sounds like a lot, it's a lot to some people, it's not enough to others, right? Oh, when I got out, I had 13 guns, and I would go to the range like every Sunday. I'd go to the range, and then I would go every Tuesday to an indoor range. And I you know, used to really enjoy shooting. And then, like, I moved down here, and I'm like, oh my God, I have 13 guns. And you end up with 13 guns, because if you buy a new gun every 2 or 3 years, over 20 years, you end up with 13 guns. And I got rid of like everything I didn't shoot and everything that couldn't be a carry gun. And I used to have a CX4 Storm, which was nice. It was a nice toy carbine, right? It was a nice little gun. It was the same gun they used in Battlestar Galactica, the TV show, Battlestar Galactica. So that was kind of cool. I got rid of like pretty much everything except 3 of my pistols. I have a Beretta, a Beretta M9, Inox, so it's all silver. It was given to me when I retired. And I'm never getting rid of that. Like, I would have to have a very sick child or something to get rid of the Beretta that I got when I retired. It has my rank on it. You know, it has my chevrons on it. That was a neat little thing. Someone said, 2-time Ukrainian volunteer. Any chance of seeing you there reporting? I'd love to get you and Chuck Holton on there at the same time. Yeah, someone else said Beretta PX4 Storm. I owned a PX4 Storm as well. I owned the compact. I really liked it. I liked that gun. The only issue I had was the manual safety. I don't like these slide-mounted safeties. But any chance I go to Ukraine? You know, so the problem with traveling to foreign countries for me is that because I've done work for the government before, and occasionally I might do work for the government, I have to let them know where I'm going. And if a country like Ukraine is on a list of don't go there, then I can't go there. So like I'm going to Australia in a couple of weeks to present at this conference to talk about disinformation. And I have to give my boss, or my FSO, I have to give him when I'm leaving, how long I'm going to be there, the hotels I'm staying at, my travel plans, my flight information. I have to give my boss all that stuff. Because, you know, if something happens overseas, they have to know about it. And if any foreigner approaches me overseas and starts asking weird questions, I tell them about that too. So we take that really seriously. Someone said, what part of Maryland are you from? I'm from New Jersey, but I live in Silver Spring. Ryan, what's your favorite artillery piece? I don't know. M777. I don't know artillery all that well. Hello, fellow Marylander. What part of Maryland are you from? I am from Silver Spring, Maryland. Uncle Ice-T did 4 years in the 25th. Yeah, and he actually said he didn't like it that much. But yeah, Ice-T did 4 years. He said I read his book, The Ice Opinion. Yeah, I got into gangster rap while I was in the Army. And it was actually, I got in through why someone said, why am I not seeing a Brazilian flag in your collection? Because I don't have a patch. Someone else said, do you go to Ireland much? I do not go to, I've never been to Ireland, but I mean, my family's from Northern Ireland, specifically Lisburn, so I guess I would probably go there first and then try to go into the Republic. But I was telling a story about so I was years ago. It was in the 90s. I think I was at Fort Drum when this happened. I think we had like a chain of command ceremony, and we had to like put away I was selected for the detail to put away the chairs. I was a private, right? So I had to put away the chairs, and my ride back to the barracks was this guy, Sergeant Turner. And after I put away the chairs, and so, might have been a specialist at the time. It doesn't matter. But I got in his car, and this song comes on his CD player. Because back then we had CD players in cars. The song comes on his CD player, and it was DMX, ATF. Boom, 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 open the door, ATF. Too late to send my girl downstairs. Say you left, you want to lace forward for hollows. Crack the safe, grab the balls. What you gonna do? Beep colors. 2 blocks over by the tall black fence. Keep the hoopy pop for situations like this. They'll go, priest, get in, you drive. What you trying to do, my ninja? Trying to stay alive, yeah. So, like, I can sing every lyric to that ATF song from DMX, right? And I was like, what the hell is this? I had never heard rap music like that before. He's like, that's my man X. And it was from It's Dark and Hell is Hot, ATF. And I was like, this is the most amazing thing I've ever heard. Like, one of the things with DMX did not have the biggest vocabulary. He probably wasn't the best rapper, but, you know, one of the amazing things about DMX is that he could tell a story in very few words. You know, like the riot squad with the captain. Nobody knows what happened. Like in the song Who We Be. And that's like, the riot squad with the captain, nobody knows what happened. Like, it kind of tells you, like, that someone was in jail, there was the riot squad, something went wrong, the captain was there, nobody knows what happened, even though some incident happened. Like, he was able to convey a story in very few words. And that's just something I had never heard before. I think kind of Fat Joe could do that as well. You know, ready for war, dog? How you want to build a spot? I know this dirty cop. That'll get us in if we murder some mob. Up in the Hummer, the Punisher's ready. Meet me at Vito with noodles. We'll do this too while he's slipping spaghetti. Everybody hit the freaking floor. Joey crack. If he moves, shoot that blankety whore. Dead in the middle of little did we niddle. It's a middleman who didn't do diddly. Dead in the middle of Little Italy, little did we know that we riddled some middleman who didn't do diddly. What a great freaking sentence. Dead in the middle of Little Italy, little did we know that we riddled some middleman who didn't do diddly. Wow. Like, that's such a freaking amazing line, right? So Fat Joe was pretty good with that, too. It was a New York thing. Do you ever regret leaving more secure job to take up full-time YouTubing? Whew. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, sometimes I do, because like now I work between 13 and 16 hours a day. It's not easy. It's not easy doing that. And, you know, the amount of work I put in, and I don't get paid that much on YouTube. But right now is I'm starting to make a little bit more money through speaking engagements, because I'll go to places and I'll give speeches, or I'll write papers and I'll give a speech, and that's a little bit better. Like, I think that might be more of my bread and butter. Like, YouTube is what gets me the speaking engagements. So I think like the speaking engagements might become my bread and butter. So yeah, that but it is scary sometimes, because I tell you, waiting for that YouTube check, that's a scary thing to do. Like, because you're waiting for that check, and then like here in Maryland where I live, 47% of it's like 47.5% of my income goes to taxes. So if I get you know, when you give me a $5 super thanks, YouTube takes 30% of that. So after taxes, what's 30% of 5? You get $3.20. And then the government, so 8% of that $3.20 goes to the state of Maryland, and then like 35% goes to the federal government, and then I have to pay Social Security tax, employee and employer on that. So that $5 super thanks that you give me, it's great, but at the end of the day, I'm seeing maybe $1.20 after YouTube takes their cut and after the government takes their cut. And that's not easy. Some people like Jake Bro, you know, who are in Nevada, creators who are in Nevada and Florida, like states with no state income tax, they do a little bit better because they see a little bit more money from that. But in Maryland, we have a state income tax, and that can hurt. When I think of DMX, I think of Cat Williams talking about DMX in elementary school trying to cheat. Do you ever think of joining a minor league football? No, I don't like football that much. It's I mean, I like watching football, but the problem with football is that like it's like I don't have 4 hours. You know, I don't have 4 hours to spend watching football. You know, you watch football for 4 hours, there's only like 11 minutes of play. It's better to watch like an ESPN recap or something. Do Do I think Ukraine will become a frozen conflict? I mean, I think in a lot of ways it already is, and it's really just a contest of wills to see who collapses first. And the more we fund Ukraine when it comes to weapon systems, the more of a chance Russia has of collapsing. Do you think Trump will still help Ukraine if he is elected? I think he will, because he's going to take advice from his advisors. And, ultimately, I think that the president knows that the best way to deter China from invading Taiwan is President Trump is not like China. The best way to deter China from invading Taiwan is to stand strong in Ukraine. Because if we stand together on Ukraine, we're going to stand together if deterrence fails and China decides to invade Taiwan. What else I have here? I'm waiting for you to condone the elite. I'm amazed he gets money from YouTube with no death hauls or cat videos. I get a lot of stuff to monetize from YouTube. That's why I have Substack. The fact that YouTube provides us an open platform is pretty incredible. Do I watch the NBA? Yeah, I watch the NBA a lot. I watch the playoffs. I kind of thought that was like preordained. Boston was going to win that. Well, I'm glad Jason Tatum got it. My only regret is that Daniel Gafford, who plays for the Timberwolves, he played for the Wizards. I kind of wish Daniel Gafford, would have gotten a ring. But there's always next year. Ryan, would you go on the Unsubscribe podcast? Yes, I would. I would go on the Unsubscribe podcast. I'm a little reluctant to do it because what's his name? Because they swear a lot on that, and I don't really swear. I don't even swear when I'm singing DMX, right? But I would go on Unsubscribe. So Ethan Long, habitual line crosser, he's been on Unsubscribecast a couple of times, and he has me talking with the guy's name. I have it right here. I was talking with him earlier. I can't freaking remember his name. But Eli, I was talking with Eli, and Eli's like, oh yeah, sometime in August maybe. So yeah, maybe I'll be on the Unsubscribecast. My big thing is whether I'm allowed to smoke. Like, if I'm not allowed to smoke, I probably won't go on the Unsubscribe podcast. So I want to be able to smoke, for God's sake. Let's see here. What else we got? Somebody said a while back, would you put up a Canadian JTAC patch where we could see it? I mean, I don't have a lot of room. Like, Canada, I might have to move those flags up a little bit. I don't have any more freaking room to put any more patches. Macbeth, how will Trump end the war in 24 hours? I don't think he will. I don't think he'll be able to do that. I think, politicians say a lot of things when they're running for office. Whether they can actually do those things are up in the air, right? So, smoking kills, but it's kind of worth it. I love smoking. I can't even lie about that. I freaking love it. Why don't you swear? Why don't I swear? So I guess a couple of reasons. The first is, believe it or not, I am a Christian, even though I'm not that good of a Christian. I'm a Irish Protestant, and I do actually kind of believe in that stuff a little bit. So there's that. The other is that my mother watches this, and I don't want to see her. I don't want her to see me swearing. And there's also kids who watch my YouTube channel, and they. I never want a father to sit down with their kid to watch a video I made that talks about weapons. Because, like, a lot of times a father will sit down with their kid and say, hey, watch this video about the Patriot missile system. This is what I used to work on. And I don't want that father to have to worry about what I'm going to say. So I don't talk about sex. I don't swear. Because kids watch my stuff. And my mom watches my stuff, and hi, Mom, she's probably not watching this, but, Ryan, do you have any plans for Ryan? How'd the conference go? Boy, someone. What kind of cigars do you smoke? This is one I got in New York City. I smoke CAO Brasilia, Partagas Black Label. It's another big one I like. The cigars I've been smoking recently have been from Mr. Cigar in Miami, which is a small custom roller. I had one when I went on. I went to Mr. Cigar when I went on the Destiny podcast, and I really liked it. And so I went back there and started ordering from them, and they just send me new cigars every month when I order them. Has no one seen the South Park about curse words? There are words of curse. How did the conference go? The conference went pretty well. One interesting thing about the conference, there are these, like, just about all the women and some of the men were wearing, like, every piece of Judaica they had. Like Star of Davids and Chais and Humpses and mezuzahs and anything you could think of, they were wearing, right? And it was almost like suits of armor. You know, they're all wearing all this Judaica, and it's almost like they're saying, "I am not going to be afraid. I am going to wear every single piece of Judaica on my body to let people know that I'm Jewish and I'm not going to stand for whatever." I also think that some of these people might be taking self-defense a little more seriously. Like, I think maybe some Jews have realized, oh my God, I've been anti-gun for so long, maybe it's not a bad idea to learn how to use a firearm. And I'm sorry that it took October 7th for people to realize that. Like, maybe the police aren't coming, you know? And also, like, I talked with a lot of Jews who were like, you know, we discovered a guy who, you know, who was harassing an older Jewish man, and we put together evidence and we gave it to the police, and the police didn't do anything. And I could see some Jews starting their own, what do they call it, Haganah? I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but like their own little militia or self-defense organization. You know, just because there might be some police who don't care, right? And it's a sad thing to say about America that the people of a certain religion have to set up their own militia or their own defense organization. But that is something that some people are thinking about doing. And I think maybe they've been going like, man, maybe we've been voting for the wrong people, voting to take away our own gun rights, you know, our own rights to self-defense. Someone said, any new disinformation campaigns on YouTube or Instagram? Yes, because I just did a video about the Bugatti that supposedly Irina Zelenska purchased. You know, President Zelensky's wife bought a Bugatti, but she didn't really buy a Bugatti. It was a doctored active measure that was put out by Russia. And I think Jackson Hinkle might actually be in some trouble for that, because I think Bugatti is trying to sue him for doing what he did, which is kind of like, I mean, that's like, I believe in free speech and all that, but, you know, I don't know what you can sue Jackson Hinkle on. Maybe like fraud or using the logo incorrectly, or copyright, maybe a trademark violation, because maybe the guy put out something that was a trademark violation of Bugatti. European laws are different than American laws, so that could be a thing. But you know, one of the ways this whole disinformation thing can stop is if we start to hold people accountable for putting out disinformation, and we might have to hold them financially accountable. You know, that could be a way of doing it. Ryan, thank you for being an ally of the Jewish community. I mean, you're welcome. I mean, I don't know if I'm an ally of the Jewish community as much as, you know, Israel and the U.S. have been allies for years. And Israel is really the only democracy in the Middle East, and it's good to support democracies. In the U.S. and Israel, we trade information all the time, weapons systems. Israel's a major customer of U.S. weapons systems. And the trophy system, which was developed for the Israeli Merkava, that is now on some U.S. tanks. So we trade ideas and we trade technology when it comes to defense. So Israel's a very important partner in that. Yes, you are your own first responder. So what else do I have here? How do you go about getting rid of blankety blank, mass blankety blanks without restricting access to weapons? Education. I don't know. That's a tough one, right? You know, how do you get rid of people using guns improperly without restricting access to weapons? That's always the question. I think a lot of that might come from, you know, you might say like access to healthcare, right? Like access to mental health care, because, you know, the one common thread among all people who've taken a gun and done something bad with it at a mass level, the one common thread is that all those people are mentally ill, right? Only a mentally ill person would do that. So maybe that's a healthcare problem in the sense of like, maybe we need to be able to get these people the resources they need. So maybe figuring out how we can have some form of, I don't want to say state-sponsored healthcare, but inexpensive state-subsidized healthcare for people who don't have those resources. That would probably do better than just banning stuff, right? Is the U.S. cooked? No. Ryan, are there Western military personnel in Ukraine? Yes and no. Yes, there's special forces people and there's accountants, finance people that are in Ukraine keeping track of weapons, but there's no trigger pullers. What else I got here? I apologize to chat for swearing earlier. It's fine. What do I think about Gorka? Yeah, I gotta tell you, I like Destiny and I like Sebastian Gorka. And on a personal level, I don't agree with all of Sebastian Gorka's policies, but I've been on his show. He's a great guy. He's given me cigars before. Destiny, I don't agree with everything he says, but on a personal level, I think Destiny's a great guy. Steven is a really cool guy. And I liked hanging out with him when I was in Florida, and I would go on his show again. And I've gotten other people that I know, like Chuck Holton. Chuck Holton was on Destiny on Saturday. I think they're going to put that out later. And Chuck Holton, he's been all over the world, all sorts of conflicts. Like, that's going to be a great freaking episode. I like Destiny a lot on a personal level, even though I don't agree with some of his policies. Like, that's one of the neat parts about being American. We can like people on a personal level. We don't have to agree with their political policies or what people say. Does USA have Iron Dome? I think we had 4 units or 2 units of Iron Dome as like test units, and I think we either gave those back to Israel or we mothballed them because we're kind of working on our own thing. What do you think of Hasidic Jews joining the military? I mean, I'm not Israeli, but it's probably not a bad. I mean, if you're talking about Israel, like, you know, like, if you're a citizen, you should probably contribute to the common defense. But that's Israeli thing. Yeah, teach kids firearm safety at a young age. Demystify it. Destigmatize mental health care. Yeah, I mean, like, that's, I think the school I went to, they used to have like a rifle team, like back in the 80s. You know? Like a 22 rifle, you'd walk to school with your rifle, you know, and then you'd put it in the coach's office. Nobody ever got shot. You know, it was common to have a rifle team at school. Hey, you're talking about 22 rifle, tiny little bullets, right? And nobody ever got shot. I think, you know, when you know, one of the things that I think of when I see people play Call of Duty, you know, when you play a game like Call of Duty, the weapon solves your problem, right? There's a bad guy, you shoot the bad guy, the weapon just solves your problem. But in real life, when you shoot somebody with a weapon, your problems are just beginning, right? And that's something a lot of video games don't teach, right? You can play Grand Theft Auto and act like a sociopath, and the consequences are the police catch you, and they fine you, and, you know, then you have to redo the mission. And in real life, that's not the case. Ryan's the most wholesome Army dad ever. What else do I have here? You should watch talks about was on my rifle team in 88, 90. Yeah, some schools had rifle teams. Yeah, Chuck Holton's a good guy too. I met Chuck. He's a colleague at Newsmax. He does a lot of stuff that I could never even do. So speaking of disinformation, I'm an election official, and it's brutal right now. I don't imagine. What do you need to know about a realistic video game? I mean, probably like something like Forza. Like, I don't really play video games, but Forza, that racing game, that's probably pretty real. It looks realistic to me. I think they made a movie about that. Was that Forza or was that some other driving game? I don't know, but those look pretty realistic. Probably Flight Simulator is probably pretty realistic when it comes to controlling planes and stuff. Do you think Israel will give Ukraine those 8 or 7 Patriot systems? That's a good question. And, you know, I'm actually supposed to go on Mike Baker's podcast tomorrow. You know, Mike Baker, that former CIA guy, does Presidential Daily Brief. I'm supposed to go on that tomorrow and talk about the Patriot system and talk about the F-16s. So I hope Israel will. I mean, I'm not holding my breath on that. They might want to save them in case they have to fight Hezbollah. What part of Florida do you like the best? I don't know. I like Miami. I like Miami. I like Tampa. I like Fort Lauderdale. Like, I like Melbourne. Melbourne, Florida is kind of nice. Like, I've yet to find a bad part of Florida. I would love to live in Florida, but I want to be close to my parents. Yeah. Why contribute to Newsmax? A centrist would most likely contribute to News Nation. Honestly, Newsmax contacted me first, and they needed a guy who could do intel. And I was like, sure. I mean, I don't talk about politics, but like, you want to talk about Iran firing missiles? Yeah, I'm good at that. Gran Turismo. Yeah, that's the movie. Gran Turismo. What do I think is the most realistic military game? Probably Arma. Seems like the developers, I think, are from the Czech Republic, or maybe they're from Cyprus. Oh, Bohemia Interactive. I think a lot of those guys are military vets, and I think they do it right. Like, they know about the chaos of war. It's not like Call of Duty where you're jumping and all that stuff. It's very kind of grounded, you know. Cocoa Beach, yeah, Cocoa Beach, Melbourne. Yeah. Do you think Israel will go to Lebanon? I mean, maybe. Why do you have an Israeli flag? Because someone from Israel sent me some patches. What are my favorite places in Europe? I've really only been to Germany. I mean, Frankfurt's nice. Hey, that was, Jesus, 30 years ago. Have I ever been to Eastern Europe? No, I've never been to Eastern Europe. Never been to Eastern Europe. Operation Flashpoint, yeah, that started. I think that is pretty much it. Unless you guys have anything else, it's like 6:30. I haven't eaten dinner. I mean, I'm not exactly malnourished, but I don't have any food in the house. I've got like Cheerios. You know. What do you think of the new presidential Supreme Court ruling that makes the president immune? I haven't read that yet. I have so much stuff to do. Like, I can't know everything. I don't know. I haven't really read that. Is there a difference between air-to-air missiles that Ukraine gets and the U.S. has? Yes. The air-to-air... I don't know about the air-to-air missiles that they're going to get. The AMRAAMs might be older versions of AMRAAM, or the Ukrainians might somehow retrofit Soviet-era missiles onto those F-16s. I don't know. My favorite patch. Oh, boy. Favorite American patch is probably the 101st patch. A lot of history behind that. It's really identifiable. But probably 101st. Rakasans, right? I should put up a Rakasan, Tori. All right. I'm going to go eat. Hey, guys, thank you so much for watching. This went on way longer than I thought it was going to. I don't know how long we were on, like an hour and a half, 84 minutes ago, 90 minutes. 90 freaking minutes. All right. So you guys have a fantastic day, and I am out of here. I gotta go. Get some food in my gut here, and you're very welcome. Thank you, new subscriber. You're very welcome for me doing the intel work. So, see you guys.